Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Transcend with M. Once again, I want to thank you for your support, and I truly hope you are gaining some knowledge and challenging yourself to become a warrior of change. During last week's episode, we talked about vulnerability and how exercising it can work as an agent of change in your life. However, there is this misconception, especially for leaders and managers too, that vulnerability is or can be seen as a weakness. My question is, can you be a leader without showcasing vulnerability? And what does being a leader really means? Now, I understand that leadership has many faces, many meanings, and it is perceived differently by everyone. But there is one thing we all have in common, and is that everyone needs someone to look up to, and everyone needs an example. So I am going to play for you a short audio from the film Invictus. This is one of my favorite films. This scene is played by Morgan Freeman, who plays Nelson Mandela, and Matt Damon, who plays Francois Pienaar. I absolutely love this scene, not only because they're two of my favorite actors, but because they play two of the most powerful leaders and influencers, not only in Africa, but in the world. Here we go.
Tell me, Francois, what is your philosophy on leadership? How do you inspire your team to do their best? By example. I've always thought to lead by example, sir. That is right. That is exactly right. But how to get them to be better than they think they can be? That is very difficult, I find. Inspiration, perhaps. How do we inspire ourselves to greatness when nothing less will do? How do we inspire everyone around us? I sometimes think it is by using the work of others.
Wow. I don't know you, but that was powerful. Leadership is not about power. Leadership is not about having the last say. Leadership is not about being the smartest person in the room either. Leadership is not about solving all the problems. It's not about egos. It's not about exposure. In my eyes, being a leader and my philosophy of leadership is to create an impact, to be an example of transformation, and an inspiration to keep moving regardless of the situation that presents in front of you. You know, he touches in so many different points. It just in 44 seconds, he talks about what is your philosophy of leadership, how do you inspire your team, how using the work of others inspires one in order to inspire others. It was so charged. So being a leader is showcasing interest and to be willing to listen and take action. Being a leader is to impart knowledge and educate those that need it the most. It means developing people so you're no longer needed. Being a leader represents being at the service of others to promote accountability, ownership, and autonomy. Being a leader, in my eyes, represents servancy, vulnerability, and courage. It's to acknowledge that without your team, you can't succeed. is to rectify the wrong and support the right. Is to give more than you expect and to do it from the good of your heart. Because you cannot be a leader by wanting recognition. You cannot be a leader by pretending that everybody has to bow to you. You cannot be a leader pretending that that person will owe you something down the road. Now the question is, how do I become a better leader? How do I become vulnerable and selfless enough to be a good leader? The answer is very simple, really, and I became to learn this couple years ago. I will say about 3 years ago. It was like a momentum where I was like, you just have to be yourself. Just be the best version of yourself. Lead by example. Just like Matt Damon said on these, in this scene representing Francois, you lead by example. Because if you lead by example, then others will want to copy that better version of yourself, and they'll become the better version of themselves by seeing that you're doing the right thing and that you're listening and that you're doing the right thing by them, not just for you, this is not for your own growth. This is for the growth of others around you. So when you're down, instead of putting a shield, share. Lean on those that you know have your best interests at heart. Think more about the solutions and less about the problem. You become a better leader by showcasing gratitude, promoting good behavior in public, and providing solutions in private. I will never say criticize in private, because that's not a positive way of changing behavior. You don't criticize. You provide solutions. You acknowledge what's wrong and you move on. You get your hands dirty, work on the weeds, and showcase that you care. But most important of all, to become a better leader, you have to listen. You have to listen for the need. Most people will come to you asking questions and that only are scratching the surface, and they're just screaming internally for help, and they're screaming internally for mentorship, and they're screaming internally of like, please help me understand, and we won't listen. So fine-tune your ear. Dig deep. Listen to the tone. Become aware. Nelson Mandela once said, "Lead from the back and let others believe they are in the front." This is the only way change happens, because there can be no greater gift than that of giving to help others without expecting anything in return. So today, make a change. Lead by example. Find internally and in your heart what type of leader you want to be. And execute. Execute that God-given talent that you got. Like always, thanks for listening. I hope this podcast helps you grow and challenge you to make better decisions for your future. You do have the power to change the world. If you don't follow us yet, just take a look on Instagram and follow TranscendwithM, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn for Monica Duani, and I will see you next Wednesday.